morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again this week. We are on episode 7 of Saved You a Seat. We are going to talk about today SoftPro custom development and integrations, and we are very fortunate to have what we consider an expert, Elliot Potts with SoftPro, who is the development manager for the custom development team. And I'm going to turn it over to him here in a second, but first I'm going to go over a few housekeeping items. As many of you know, we do send a recap. We will try and get that out in the next day or two. That recap will have a link to the recording. It'll have any documentation if there is any. And then if there's questions that we weren't able to get to or need further explanation, we'll also include that as well. So speaking of questions, you should see a questions or chat box. Probably the questions is the best way to go about it. You may type in questions throughout the webinar, and we will try and answer as many as we can. And if we can't get to them, like I said, we will answer them. We'll just include them in the recap for everybody to see. So please feel free to ask any questions. If you have any questions after the webinar, you're more than welcome to reach out directly to myself or to Ellen Crema at SoftPro or to Elliot Potts at SoftPro. We will either answer it or get you in touch with the right person. So with that, again, I just want to thank everybody for spending your time with us again this morning. And I am going to turn it over to Elliot, and he's going to go ahead and start and let you see all the cool stuff you can do with SoftPro.
All right. Thank you, Leslie. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time. Echo Leslie's sentiments there. So certainly appreciate having the opportunity to share this information with you. As she also said, yeah, as those questions come up, please put them into the chat so that we can get those responses to you. Look forward to sharing this information with you, and I'll jump right into it. So today I just figured that we would walk through really just at a high level what can be done with Select. There's a really powerful API that's behind Select that allows you to extend and add on to the features and the abilities that's built into SoftPro Select. So I'm going to walk through and discuss some of the things that can be done. I'm going to talk about how our team takes that approach from what can be done, and then using our process to build out a successful solution for customers when they request it from us. Just giving you ideas of how we do it. Additionally, there's development that can be done. If you have an in-house development team, they certainly can work with the Select API and build tools for you. If you don't, then you can certainly have discussions with us, and we can talk about what the cost is and how that scheduling of it actually works to come up with a solution for you. And then we can take that further. But today, really just want to show you a few tools, and that's what I'll do in the demo of tools that we've built using the API that help our customers perform more efficiently and increase their abilities within Select. They are tools that are available as add-on products, but just wanted to let you know that it's really just to show you an example of what can be done. So there's further expansion past this certainly that you could do. So the three tools that I was going to take a look at is Css Import. That was the original name of it. It does support for more than just the CSS or commercial statement to create orders. A bulk task update tool that we've created, and then the hyperlink commitment. For anybody that has SoftPro Live, then this tool is included with it. I'm not sure if you're using this tool or not, but I thought I'd show you one of the features that's available in it that is a nice addition to the SoftPro Live integration that we built with it. All right. So I will jump right into how can Select be customized. As I mentioned, there's a lot of functionality that you can extend. So if you've got a business partner or some other affiliate company that you do business with, or one of your customers or vendors that you need some type of custom integration built, the Select API can facilitate that ability. As long as there's a way to communicate between that customer and your environment, whether it's hosted or whether you're hosting it on premise for yourself, there are definitely ways to create that custom integration Usually a lot of times it's, think of it as a 360 service, but on a smaller scale because it's just from you to perhaps one other company that you're doing business with. So some way to exchange data or documents. Try and keep the rekeying of data down to a minimum between you. Those are certainly ways that it can be beneficial to customers and have worked for them in the past. So with that, there's also the ability to expand and have an accounting integration. And with that, taking the information that's within Select, exporting it out to an accounting system so that it can be imported into that system. It keeps accountants from having to rekey the information that's already in the Select, or exporting a report and then somebody manually importing it. So there's certainly those abilities there as well. Oftentimes those are not a one-size-fits-all type of solution, so they need to take a tailored approach in order to do that. But those are certainly abilities that can be supported through customization of Select. So the other thing is CRMs, right? So we all want our sales reps to be updated on what's in Select. They may not be everyday Select users, so another way to do that is to craft an integration between whatever CRM you're using and SoftPro Select. Most CRMs these days have the ability to integrate, and then again, it's just finding that right solution that works for you and your CRM provider, and being able to link the two systems together. We've worked on a couple of them in the past. My team has. They've been fairly successful, but again, it is pretty specific to each integration partner. There's a lot of different ones out there, depending upon what you're using for that CRM. But like I said, most of them do have the ability to certainly integrate. Then web orders. A lot of title companies, or you yourself might these days have some type of ability to create a customer platform where they can input order or request that a new order is created for them. And then so taking that data and then importing it into Select so that you have that ability to not have to rekey. That's a big thing that often comes up is, the customer already sent me all this information in an email or put it into our web form. How can we get this information into Select where I don't have to retype all that information? A lot of that is, what any type of custom integration Select really provides you, right? It's just trying to save the number of keystrokes that you're making or that any of your users are making to really try and improve your effectiveness. So additionally, we've built a couple tools that import data from other title and escrow systems. For that, it's typically focusing on starter type information. So think of you've done, 20,000 commitments and title policies outside of Select in another system that you're still keeping around. Wouldn't it be nice to have that data available in Select so that when you're doing a new commitment on that same piece of property, you could just import those exceptions or requirements that you previously created. So there is some effort that goes into that because we found that not all of them are exactly the same. So sometimes, a requirement or exception, the way that title company A would have entered it is different than title company B. So when they import, they look a little bit different. So we have to do a little massaging of the data when we actually import it. But that's something that we've done a number of times over the last several years and really helped, again, provide that kind of those historical starters into Select so that then you can use those for future transactions. Again, it goes into just, that ability to reduce how many times you have to rekey the same information, right? And then, sometimes there are just other additional tools that help your team that, don't fit in any one of these individual buckets, but might be a tool that as an example, had a customer that they have the same printer for check stock versus a regular paper stock. So they have to manually put in, their MICR checks as the check stock into the printer every time. So they needed a quick way to see those checks before they actually go to the register, because different people can be doing it, things like that. So we built them a little tool that tells them what that, how many checks they have to have left to print. They're just different tools that can certainly help improve your effectiveness. And 3 of those such tools are going to be what I'm going to walk through and we'll take part in the demo. The first one we'll get to in just a minute. So, so building the right solution. So there are kind of a lot of broad areas where Select can be enhanced, right? How we typically take that approach and turn it into an actual tool or a product or a project for you is, I would meet with the customer, really find what it is, what the solution is that's working for you, finding that right solution. So that takes, conversations. We have to meet, we have to, obviously in this day and age, we're not meeting face to face, but, we can meet over the phone and certainly discuss what it is that what need you're really trying to fill. Because sometimes the conversation starts in one direction and it turns out that we find through a little bit of investigation and further discussion that there's actually maybe a better solution for you. So we certainly talk about that. We then create what that effort would be. So what costs and details will go into it, exactly how you want it to function, what you're looking for it to do, what the end goal would be for it. And then if you approve it and go forward with it, then we put it into development and we actually build that tool for you. Then it's yours and we install and select, and we certainly work with you to try and make sure that this is the long-term solution for you that's really going to help you out. That's just how our team does it. We've been involved in a lot of different ways, from either assisting in-house development teams, if you've got, or if you have a developer that you're working with already, and just have some additional questions, my team and I can certainly help assist in any way that we can. There's a lot of different ways that we've assisted customers over the years, but from kind of a general top down, this is what we do. We talk about, we meet, we talk about it, discuss what is the right tool or solution for you. Then we come up with exactly what that needs to do, and then we actually develop that tool for you. Okay. All right, so again, I'm going to walk through a few demos of different tools that we've created using the Select API. Again, it is, just examples of what can be done. It certainly can go further. The first one is a Css Import Tool. As I mentioned before, I'm going to change so that we see Select. You should be all seeing Select now. When we created this tool, it was really for the goal of being able to assist commercial customers that receive orders via a spreadsheet. So maybe it's for like REO sales, or it's a new subdivision that you're working with a builder on or something like that, but receiving a large number of orders via a spreadsheet, and then versus having to rekey all of that information, we built a tool that will actually allow you to import that spreadsheet and directly into Select, and then it will create an order for each row in that spreadsheet. So I'm going to show you. So the way that we do this is we have a example here, and in my spreadsheet I'm going to show you what we've got, and then I'll show you how flexible the tool really is. So with this, once it opens up, all right. So the importance of parts about the spreadsheet is that we have a row that is a header, and for us it starts off as NCS file number. That's just the main header, and then for this is where when we create each order in this from this spreadsheet, we're going to write back into this column the order number for this row, and the order number for this row would go here. If there's any notes or if there was an error for some reason, then that would be written back to this column here so that you would have that feedback and that information. And then the prefix and suffix, if you were adding a prefix or suffix to your order number, you could identify that here. And then all of these column headers here, they correspond to some field in select. And the way that we do that is we have a lookup table that we've created. And in that lookup table, it basically just says, what is the Excel header row? So the column header, what is that value in the Excel sheet? And where should that value go in my order? So this is very similar to the way that you would identify items for if you're writing a formula or something like that. So it's just using that field code browser to identify exactly what field you want it to go into and select. And then, just making that link. So for this one, as an example, my order type, my order.order type is over here, and it's going to go to the order.type field, which will set it as, that's our title only, escrow only, title and escrow, whatever values are supported there. Additionally, I've got my seller contacts, I've got my buyer contact for each of these. And as an example, additionally, we can support if by chance you had requirements and exceptions that you wanted to import. That may be less likely, but we certainly can support it with this tool. Additionally, we can support up to 3 templates per order. So you can put the names of the templates directly into the spreadsheet. As an example, so just so that you see what it looks like when it fails, I'm going to put one that doesn't work. So from this spreadsheet here, I have 4 orders, and one of them should throw an error because I don't actually have a template named this. So we'll see it being created with 3 orders. So I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to import it. And we've put this tool under we've created a SP Tools tab. So if you have this tool installed, then you would have this additional tab. And then it's this Import CSS button. Once I click on this, I see some of the same type of information that I would see if I'm doing a regular new order. I could have a prefix. I could set a suffix. I'm not going to here because I've actually set those in the spreadsheet. I could also assign the trust account if I wanted to. The settlement type is reading from your profile settings, just the same as it would through the new order, typical new order. And then templates, you could, again, assign, if you had one template that you were going to apply to all of the rows in the spreadsheet, you certainly could do that. Or you could not, and I'm going to decide not to since I set them in my template as well. Or excuse me, in my spreadsheet. So now I'm just going to browse. I'm going to grab that spreadsheet and I'm going to import it. And I just click on create orders, and it's going to give me a progress telling me that it's going to create my orders. I can see that I have 4 rows in that spreadsheet to create orders from, and it's starting to create them for me. At the end of this, what it's going to do is it's going to update that spreadsheet for me. And just like I had said or planned, it created 3 out of the 4 orders for me. And now if I go back and open up my spreadsheet, I can show you that it's not going to create that one order. So it created the first 2 orders and gave me the order numbers back, and see that it used the prefix and suffix that I had set in there. The 3rd order, it said it couldn't find that template, so it did not create the order for me. And then the fourth order, I didn't have a prefix or suffix set. So it created the order, but just didn't use that. So it's pretty powerful just with the ability to, and flexibility that is in that mapping of going from, the Excel column header to actually where that data needs to go into in the select order. So if we go and open this order here, we can see that it'll have my street address. It'll have my street address for me. It'll have my contacts. It'll have my buyer and seller contact in here. Title company I put as Chicago Title. And then I had some requirements and exceptions. So it had my requirements and my exceptions in here. So again, just really an example of what can be done. It's really doing what a user would do, manually inputting each one of these values in there, just trying to make it a little bit easier and quicker for our users that are using this tool to go ahead and just import those orders that way. So, and again, it does go back and as an example, like as I was mentioning that this particular field here, if you're not familiar with it, then certainly one way to do it is if you're in your order and then on the ribbon, you have the field code browser. And if you click this link button and then click into the field, oops, that fell away. Let me pin that out. You could see that this is the order.type field. One item, some people might be asking, like I have the square bracket 0 in here or wondering what that means. That just means that that's the first entry in here. So it's a base 0. So that's the first buyer, it's the first property again. And then the first commitment, and then first exception, second exception, and then third exception. So just
hey, Elliot, can I jump in
yeah,
because someone has a question?
Absolutely. Sure.
Okay, someone wants to know, do you have to create the file number in advance, or can the system choose the file number as it creates the file?
It absolutely creates the number as it goes. So it's using the order numbering manager for that particular profile. So if we see here, if we look in the middle here, we see that it's 006 and then 007 and then 008, and that's all coming from the manager. And same with the prefix and suffix. If you wanted to set the same prefix or suffix or not use them at all, as I did in this one, you certainly could do that as well. So either picking it from the tool or if you wanted to set different for each row, then you could certainly put it just directly in the spreadsheet. But a good question.
I have another question. I have another one.
Yep.
It says, does it insert the prefix and suffix in the prefix and suffix fields in the database?
Yes, that's a good question. So here we can do a quick test. Let's see how we did. Oops. So, oops. This should tell me that my prefix on this order is CIP, and it is CIP. So it does create it as the actual prefix and suffix, not just appending to the order number at the beginning or the end. So, but we can also see that on the way that it was incrementing the order number. It wouldn't quite work the same way if we weren't doing that. So. But yes, it actually does save it that way.
Okay, so going back to that first question about the file number, I think they have a follow-up and says, so you have to have the field to mark a place for the file number, but not the exact file number, correct?
Can you say that again?
Sure, it says, so you have to have the field to mark a place for the file number, but not the exact file number, correct?
So in the spreadsheet, yes, you need a place in the spreadsheet for that order number to go. You don't have to provide that number at all. I hope I'm answering your question.
I think so, and if not, you can, oh, yes, they said thank you.
Yep, okay,
okay.
Good.
I'm gonna stop interrupting you now, move forward.
Okay, all right. But yeah, again, these are certainly things just to, as an example, right, of things that can help yourself or anybody on your team. In a way that the Select API provides us. You know, we're not doing anything that any other developer couldn't do. We have experience with it, sure, but this is certainly functionality that is there and is supported by the Select API. So, all right, another one that I thought I'd walk through is the bulk task update editor. So for this one, what this tool allows is for users to be able to go and find, you know, search for a list of tasks that you want to perform the same update on. As an example, let's say that I just requested the payoff on 5 different orders, and I need to go and update those orders that I actually performed that request, and that now we're just waiting for it to come back. So something like that. So I put in here our order first mortgage payoff. That was the name of the task that I was looking for. If I've set it now to look in the default profile, because that's currently where I'm at. You could do it. This database is really simple, so I don't have multiple, but you can do it for multiple profiles if you wanted to. It would be clicking on this button, and then you would see a full list of all of your profiles right here. You could select all of them that you wanted to search across. And so really the default profiles and then the name of the task, those are really the 2 main items. You can certainly search for if there was a task due date. You know, if it was a requested task, obviously we'd have some different abilities like the requested due date or the requested date on it. So a lot of different ways that you could search for those tasks that you're trying to update. I'm going to keep it pretty simple, and I want to update my order first mortgage payoff task. And so down in the bottom, I have reset, which kind of resets all of these values that we've put in here. Enable all would be that if we want to, we can actually, you know, set these quickly. So if I click enable all, then it sets all of these, and then it's going to be trying to search by all of them. Since there's a lot of different ways that we can search for orders, or we can quickly disable all. So I'm going to disable them all because I'm just going to search by the profile and then by our task name. Okay. So once I click search, it's going to go ahead and it's going to go and try and find those tasks that I have that match. And it said it found 5 checklist tasks found on 5 orders. So I'm going to click on export search results, and then I'm going to name it my search results. If I can type, there we go. And then upon opening that, let me get that up here. It's going to show me that I have 5 orders listed here, and then their ownership profile, the status of the order, and then the transaction type. And then specifically to the task, it's going to show me that I have 5 of those tasks, who the task is currently assigned to. On 3 of them, it's to that default admin account. And then it tells me a little bit more information. It's got the state information in there, and then the task current status on it, and as well as the due date and requested date. That one applies since we've got a checklist task, but it's in there. It's just kind of a general template. And then we've got our completed date if there was one. I'm looking at these and I'm like, yep, those are the right 5 tasks that I want to update. So what I'm going to do is in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got a bulk edit tasks. When I click on that button, it opens up this new screen and it says, okay, what do you want to do with these 5 tasks? We could change the task name if we needed to. We could change who it's assigned to. We could change the task status. We could add a note. We could even add an attachment if we wanted to. Adding an attachment could be beneficial if you've got one document that you want to put back into a multitude of different orders based upon that one task that you're completing. So we added in the select order attachment, being able to upload that. If you do go that route, then you can pick the folder. The way that that works is it actually takes the folder structure from the very first order, and we're taking a guess that it's going to be the same across all the orders. So versus picking where in each order that attachment should go, we're just going to use the first one. If it doesn't match in any of the others, then it'll go into just the root folder of the attachment. And then let me close this, and I will add that attachment, and I will pick our file that we just did here, and oops, I'm gonna go up a folder. So I'll do the one that we just created. And it didn't like that because I have it open in another program. So let me fix that.
Hey, Elliot.
Yes.
Hey, while you're fixing that, somebody just asked, do past task notes stay or get removed?
They stay.
Okay.
So yeah, just like we would just be adding a new task note to that task. So fix that. And come back and I'll do my search again. And I'm not going to change the name. I'm not going to change that. I am going to mark it as completed. And I'm going to add a note in there as well. And I'm going to get my order attachment. And then I'm going to save the changes. I don't need the due date change and the completed received. I'll just let the system do it versus manually setting my own time in there. So I'm going to go ahead and save those changes, and then it's going to start processing those for me. Oh, oops, I forgot to set the folder, which it told me down here in the bottom left. I just have the basic attachments folder, so I'm going to set that. And then we should be able to save our changes now. So then at this point, you'll see that we start updating the orders, and it gives us the progress going across the bottom here. And then we can open up those orders and take a look at the changes that we made. All right, it is done now. We could click View Report, which would be another Excel document that would output that information for us. I'm just going to go ahead and open one of these orders, this one here. And then we can take a look at our checklist task. It got marked as completed. We have an order note. This has been completed. We have an attachment, which is the Saved UC Excel sheet. So again, really beneficial for those customers that are having to repeat or update the same task many different times across the same orders. So, you know, just like it says, bulk task editing really gives you that ability to do that. And again, it's just functionality that we built on top of Select to add that functionality using the Select SDK. So SDK is API, so it's the way that you can extend the functionality that's built into Select inherently. So,
hey Elliot, before you move on, I have a question. I think from the first thing you were showing us, and they had asked, could you do another version of this where you are allowed to update an existing order and add values such as exceptions, requirements, legal descriptions, and such? So can you do it to an existing order to update it with things?
That is not something we have right now in the tool. It's just for the order creation. So yeah, gotcha. that would certainly be a nice feature. The item that we run into on that is, if you already have exceptions or requirements there, or you have some other data in your order, how do we generically update that? Like, do you want to append? Do you want to overwrite and replace? So because of some of those questions, we haven't added that functionality into the tool. It potentially could be something that we add later or do in a different way, but yes, certainly understand that need or request. So.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. All right, so if no questions about that one, then I will jump over to one other tool that we've got. And this is the tool that I was mentioning that it's part of, let me come back. All right, there we go. It's available if you have SoftPro Live. And this tool, what it does is in the process of creating or writing in a commitment, right? So entering in your exceptions or requirements, we call it a token, but if you put in some type of information to tell us that I want a hyperlink here, so here we're using the square brackets that are on your keyboard, telling us that I want a hyperlink in my document here, I would like one right here, and I would like another one here, right? So we need to know where that hyperlink should be put at. And then once you've done that and you produce a commitment, then we have this create PDF document. What this does is it actually looks through the source document, so the original document that we want to start from. And I guess to take a step back, so this would be you're writing your exceptions or requirements, you're entering all that information in, you go ahead and you publish the commitment that you created, or policy would work too. And then you publish it, save it into your order attachments, and then from there, this is where the tool would take over. And so I clicked on the create PDF document here. I selected the one that I'm going to use as my original document. And then we have different options here. So in the top portion is just the name of the original document. The hyperlink document name is what it's actually going to be when we create it. So here, by default, we just call it hyperlink document so that you know that it's different than the original. Here, I'm going to do it, saved you a seat, hyperlinked. And then underneath that, we have 4 different options. So one is all from attachments. So this would be if I have stored these 3 items in my order attachments, which I have, then I can copy them and create them as an attachment to this document that will be created. Or if I'm using SoftPro Live and I've stored these 3 documents in SoftPro Live, then I could click this button and it will go and fetch that document and the link to that document from my SoftPro Live instance and copy that in here for me. Or if that document was just available some other location that either I've given my customers access to or is just generally publicly available, then you could put that URL for that web location in here. So with those 3 different options, it's pretty useful and widespread on how you could actually facilitate it. And then on this one, I'm going to click on the all from attachments. And what it's going to do here is when I click on create, it's going to actually search through and find those documents that I've put into this title document, which I've got a number of different exception copies in here. It found the document that should be included as an actual attachment. So when I open this, I can come down to my page here, And in here, oh, it's not liking this browser is not liking it. Let me try this a different way. What it does is it embeds it as an attachment, but I forgot that demos always go great. It has to do with the PDF viewer that I have here. Let me see if I have Adobe on this one real quick. Adobe Reader is a good one to use for this functionality. And nope, I don't have it there. So let me, well, imagine that when you click on this link, what it actually does is it opens it as an attachment within the document itself. Let me see if I've got a sample that I can show you quickly and get that up. Don't think I have one right offhand. Darn. I apologize about that. But that is how it works. And I could certainly, if people are interested in what that really looks like, then I could do that another time. But it does actually embed this document in, so you have a single PDF with the commitment, a copy of this document, a copy of this one, and another copy of this one. So it really embeds all of those and squashes them together. One limitation of the tool is this one right here, because it breaks over a line. The tool, when we create it, it doesn't recognize this as a hyperlink document that we need to create. So that is just one limitation to be aware of. But otherwise, when you have the right PDF viewer, it works quite well. So.
Hey, Elliot, I got a couple questions if you are at a good point.
Yep.
Okay, well, one says, where is the hyperlink document stored, like cloud or somewhere else? And or do all hyperlink docs become part of the final attachment?
They become part of the final attachment. Yep. So this has actually, so see, the original was, you can kind of see it just by the size, how much larger it's become. So it was initially 117 bytes. It's gone up to 743 because it's got, you know, that original commitment and those 3 additional documents that we added into there. So it does create a single combined PDF.
Okay, and then I think this may be the one before, but you'll know. Someone asked, where do we find a bulk task editor again?
The bulk task editor is an add-on product from SoftPro. We'll be sending out, so it's not, we're done development, but we haven't quite released it just yet. But we'll be sending out some more information on that soon. So I should see that in the coming month or so.
Okay, and then someone else said, I think it's also back to the bulk tasking. Someone said, how does the system know which files should be updated?
For the bulk task, that goes back into that spreadsheet that I quickly showed you. So let me bring that spreadsheet up again. And so in the spreadsheet, it tells you what 5, or for us, what we found were those 5 tasks that we were going to update. So the spreadsheet tells you what 5 would be updated. If these are not the ones that you would want to import or modify, then you could refine your search results to narrow down to just be the ones that you want to update. That would be the way to do it. So. Okay.
And then I get a lot of questions, and someone asked me in here, and so I'm just going to ask you from my own personal thing is, I know we've done a lot of work for people with like wire processing modules and whatnot. Could you talk to that at all? I know a lot of people are interested in that and what we may or may not be able to do.
Yes, so we have been working on some functionality to create wire integrations. It's something that we're in active development on. We're in pilot with one bank right now on it. and we're getting very close to being able to share more information about that. But it does, the goal of it is to be able to provide users with the ability to see what incoming wires have been received into your trust account, all from within Select, so that then you could then post those items into the correct ledger. Additionally, on the disbursement side, once you've dispersed that outgoing wire from your register, then being able to provide a multi-step approval process before it's actually sent to your bank to be paid through the wire system. So it is going to be bank specific, because each bank has their own way or method to integrate with them. But it is something that we've been working on for quite some time now. And we're getting
great.
very close to actually being able to release it and share more information. So.
Oh, I'm excited too. Someone just said,
yeah.
So with the wire process, would they have to log into the bank website in order to post the wires, or would it be something that we would do through the upcoming wire processing model?
It would be through the upcoming wire integration. So the goal would be, obviously, that you don't need to leave Select to complete that information. So
okay, perfect.
There's the ability for you would be provided. We've added some custom permissions in there so that you can provide for the right users to be able to complete these actions. And it's just some of that functionality and security that you need around, because we're actually dealing with money, right? We want to be pretty safe about it. We've put a lot of time and effort into trying to make sure that you have the necessary controls to be able to complete those actions and feel safe and secure about it.
Okay. I have another question back to, I think, the spreadsheet. It says, do you have to manually create the spreadsheet, or does the system create the spreadsheet for all the files that have the task pending and you delete what you don't want?
For the task editor on that,
yeah.
It creates the spreadsheet. The system creates it for you. You don't have to do anything with that, but it doesn't do anything like if you deleted a row from the spreadsheet, it wouldn't update that order. It's not bidirectional. It's just kind of an output to make sure that the orders that are in that, or the tasks in that spreadsheet, are the ones that you actually want to update. And that's why there's so many different ways to let me go back to the search. So many different ways to narrow exactly what you're trying to work on.
Okay, great. Somebody asked this feature. They said, do we have any integrations for Citrix, Write Signature, or eSign Docs, or anything like? Are we looking at anything? Or and I know some things you may or may not be able to talk about, so that's fine too.
Yeah, we don't have a solution for those at this time.
Okay.
So yeah.
Maybe something down the road. Okay. Well, that is all my questions. So
okay.
I will let you finish up.
All right. Yep. And that was, really the end of it for the demo for me too.
Okay.
So I'll just go back here. Again, thank you everyone for your time. Here's my contact information. If you need to reach out with any questions, certainly feel free to do so. I appreciate all of you attending, and thanks for the questions.
Oh, you know what? I just got 2 more questions. Sorry, you're not off the hook yet.
Yep.
So one says, regarding the hyperlinks, is it correct to say that it adds the URL hyperlink document to the PDF file and converts the URL hyperlink to a bookmark in the PDF file?
That would be correct, yes. It is creating a bookmark in there for it. And for the URL, it would add that in in a much the same way that you saw it. It's just pointing at a different object. So it's not going to be a PDF, it's just going to open up that URL. And depending upon your PDF viewer, it would either open it as, overwrite maybe a tab that you already had open or create it in a new tab. It comes down to the PDF viewer that you have, whether it's like Adobe Reader or, using one of the Chrome tools, and then also your settings in Chrome or Edge or Firefox if you're using Firefox. So those kind of all play into exactly how that ends up being displayed.
And then I think the last one that came in was, is the CSS import an add-on product?
It is an add-on product, yes. And if you're interested in it, you could contact your sales manager and get more information on it.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, with that, I am going to let you off the hook. If there's any questions on here that we didn't get to, obviously we'll follow up on. Thank you so much. This was really cool information. I don't get to see all this stuff very often, so I do appreciate it. It's certainly not anything I could explain. So great questions. Thanks everyone for joining us. As per usual, we always end with a recipe. I kind of mixed it up this time. I'm actually not much of a baker. I definitely prefer cooking, but since it's fall and this is really good, my daughter makes this and she asked that we put it in here. So this is from my little baker, and it's really good and really easy. And again, if you try it, send me a message. Let me know. I love hearing throughout the week. Everybody sends me stuff to let me know what they tried, what they changed, all that type of fun stuff. So with that, I think we're going to finish up. Just a reminder, we will go ahead and send a recap out. We will include the recording to this as well. And if you have any questions, I saw Elliot obviously put his contact information in, but if by chance you have a question for me or anyone else, please just feel free to reach out. We will put you in touch with whomever you need to get the right answer. And with that, I think we're going to sign off, and hopefully you can join us in 2 weeks when we have our next Save USC. And again, Elliot, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.